Hello, hello. Live again. So excited to be here. We are going to be talking all about creativity, but from a perspective that I think is sometimes missed, especially with so much content out there in the world. So, with that, let me just figure out one little tech thing and then we can get started. I hope everyone's having a good morning, afternoon, evening, depending upon where you are in the world. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be good. I feel like it's been too long, but once a month it goes. It feels like it's long, and then all of a sudden it's right around the corner. So, well, we're getting there. What are we talking about? This is the book, Steal Like an Artist. Oh, I know. By Austin Kleon. I believe is his name. I love this author so much too, and it's like shameful. I should get it together. But Steal Like an Artist. As you can see, I have done my tabulation thing. Lots of different good parts to read. So we are going to jump right in. So let's get into our deck, and then we will do that. Perfect. All right. So for today, let's start off with a quote. I've really been enjoying doing that for our session. So this is by Charles W. Eliot. Books are the quietest and most constant of friends. They are the most accessible and wisest of counselors, and the most patient of teachers. I love this. I really deeply love this because I do feel like every book is a friend, even a bad book, right? It's just like similar to a bad friend. It happens. It's such a wonderful foundation and stabilization for our minds, for the expansion of our minds to get into more creative spaces. I really appreciate reading. I'm actually so proud of myself. I think this is the first time in my life that maybe since I was a child, where I had a reading goal for the year and I hit it in April. Like, hello, first 4 months of the year, hit my goal. So I'm so excited. That means that, every single day beyond this month is just like icing on the cake, and it's more books and it's more friends to spend time with and to learn from, and to really seek that wisdom that's out there, because as smart as we all are, there's so much more wisdom and insights from others that we can learn and gain from. So let's dive all the way into that and lean into the wisdom that's around you. How we'll organize the conversation. So meet and greet, which is going to be a series of questions that I'll answer, so that I then hope and encourage that you do the same and put in the comments your answers and your thoughts. Then is the book summary as provided by Amazon. And usually I have a couple of remarks to add to it. And then the real fun, like meat and potato of today, which is the discussion points, because that's where we'll dive right into the book so that you can see like, is this a book? For instance, if you didn't necessarily get the book for yourself, this session should help you make that decision for yourself if this is a book that you want to read, Avi. But just in case you need more convincing, I got you. And then next steps. Perfect. So meet and greet content creation edition, meaning every meet and greet's going to be different based on the book that we're reading. And today's book, or this month's book, is around content creation. So first question out of the gate: what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out as a content creator? Woo, child, pray. No, really. No, I say that because it's just this is the most exciting time to ever be alive, but it's also the most noisiest time to be alive, right? Like, there's so many voices out there, so many content creators, so unique propositions. It's not like, oh, cool, maybe I'll figure that out. Like, that has to be the starting point. What is your unique voice going to be? Why is your voice needed? Of course, your voice is wanted and needed, but why do you think that there's an audience that's going to come in and spend their time? Because they don't have to give you your time, right? What's the most valuable asset in your life? Time. So when someone sits and watches something in the live, when they watch it on a replay, when they watch your Instagram, when they watch your reels, that is in your YouTube shorts, those are honorable moments that they're giving to you. There's no greater honor than someone can give you than their time. So what exactly are you doing to garner that time from others? So clear why. You got to be clear on your why. I would also advise that newbie content creator to really spend as much time creating content in conjunction with consumption of content. The better way to get better at something, and I'm still on my learning journey as well, as so many of us are, right? It's never ending, always learning, figuring out what's out there in the market, what are other people doing, not to necessarily copy, but to persuade and to integrate and to create new funnels of content dispersion, but also ways of expressing yourself and new tools and tricks and tips and all that stuff. So consume content just as much as you're creating it. Be clear on your why, and then also have grace for yourself in these moments. There are going to be times when you do not want to be on camera. I've started doing a word of the day on the Woken Free platform that I share with my husband. And, it is incredibly interesting trying to get up and do content every single day. I know some content creators, that's their grind. I would say I've created content daily for sure, but not necessarily through video form. And it's another level. It's another level up for me, at least, is how I see it. And I'm loving it. I'm also eagerly interested to see how people are going to be continuing to receive it. I'm really interested to see where I sit with this 3 months from now, 6 months, right? Where is it going? So on a journey, on multiple journeys as in life, but the content creation journey is a unique and special journey. So I welcome everyone who wants to join the party. Give yourself grace, be clear on your why, and keep learning, keep creating, keep consuming, sharing other content as well. And you're welcome. Your voice is welcome. So come to the party. All right, next. What are some of your upcoming projects or content that you're most excited about? I guess I would say, this Woken Free word of the day, because it's reflective time for me. And I really, as a mom, as everyone knows, I create content around my motherhood journey, but also just being in the truth. And I'm grateful to have a partner who's a stay-at-home full-time dad who is KJ's best friend, partner in crime. And, but it's interesting to be balancing and juggling everything that I do in my life. And I have 27,000 jobs. It's incredibly fun to be Jamaican. So I'm most excited about my content around motherhood, just because I'm leaning into that, and I'm really hoping to provide some really good resources and support for working mothers like myself, but also for mothers where, maybe they didn't think motherhood was the most natural thing for them. I would definitely say I'm a non-traditional mother. I'm not a mother who's going to be afraid to say a curse word or be like, no, we can't see this. Now, me and my husband, we battle around content exposure and stuff like that, just because I had a non-traditional content exposure background. So it's challenging for me to be more hard and fast around rules around that, because I'm just it is what it is. But it's a journey. So I'm excited about my content around motherhood, and then also the Woken Free word of the day, because you can never have enough reflective moments in your life, and being able to document it has been really interesting. I found it inspirational for myself, and so I'm really excited to see how it's going to be continued to received and hopefully inspire and motivate others. What has been your biggest challenge as a content creator, and how have you overcome it? Ooh, child. So I grew up in a household where vanity was not something that was optional, but I have found with the Caribbean folks that I grew up around, again, you can't say everyone is everything, but for the Caribbean family members that I was around, vanity is a big thing, unfortunately. And so sometimes it has been hard creating content if I physically wasn't feeling up for it, if I didn't want to put on makeup. I've now challenged myself to get on camera and be on camera without makeup, which has been really hard for me, because I feel that sometimes I prefer when my face is done. But I have realized that at the end of the day, it's about what you're dispensing, what you're sharing, how you're feeding into other people's spirit and life. And, the box that comes out of, sure, you can paint it. You can put some gel on that if you want, but it doesn't always have to be that case. And that's been hard for me, just because I've felt not like I was naked without makeup or anything like that, because I'm not the most into makeup or anything like that. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting my face on. I enjoy spraying on perfume, getting jazzed. But I would consider myself also a very natural oriented person as well. So it's been a challenge trying to figure out where I sit with how I show up in my content all the time, but pushing myself to focus on doing the content and not allowing external circumstances or internal sabotaging thoughts get in the way of that. If that makes sense. How do you come up with new ideas for your content, and what is your creative process like? Ooh, this is going to be fun. So I'm a person who's just very much, I live in my career, in my entrepreneurial stuff, very much of the build the plane as you're flying it situation. So a lot of times new ideas come through as I'm consuming my own content, but then also I'm in the middle of creating some form of content. And then there's a spark or a side edition type of a content that spurs from that. And then I got to do a podcast on that. I got to write a blog post right there. I got to write a Microsoft Start article about that, right? Like, so there's constant, my mind is always going, I'll be cooking, and that sparks the idea. So just living life as who I authentically am develops content for me, but then also being in a space of content creation breeds more content creation. So that's how I do it. And my process is pretty simple. I'm a big planner, so I will have kind of a back end system to be able to document what I want to do, what days, and what my content planner looks like. But then there's also moments where it's like I'm on the fly. So definitely on the word of the day, I get inspired for that word the day of, and randomly maybe the day before, but mostly day of, my spirit is moved. I try to be very in tune with how I'm feeling and then flow that into my content. So, curious to hear how other people how that affects them as well. But, that's where I sit with that. All right. So book summary. So this is super easy read. I mean, look at it. It's super easy read. Is it even 100 pages? Oh yeah, it's 140 odd pages. So, okay. You can read the book. So if that's a concern for you, like, oh, Natasha, I can't with another long book. This is not the one. So you got this. It's a guide. It's a guide to help you understand what creativity looks like through like the lens of being an artist. And you can consider yourself an artist because you create art in many different facets of your life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what each of those are. Some of us do it through writing. Some of us do it through vocalization. Some of us do it through actual drawing and pottery and all sorts of things, painting, things like that. But you're an artist. Whether you want to see yourself as that, you can fight the inevitable. That's your choice, but you're an artist. So how do you create? How do you release that art? And this book walks you through that way. But what I love about it is because the title is so jarring, Steal Like an Artist, it makes you think like theft. And it's not about that. It's about really looking at creativity and inspiration on a more practical and realistic way, and with the invention, or the inception rather, of Chat GPT and Copy AI and all these AI tool assistants, the inevitability of utilizing what's out there and funneling that into your own content is a reality. You can fight it, but there's no point. Embrace, lean in, and go forward. I recommend. So let's get into specific parts of the book that will be helpful. And we've got to hustle. Okay. So all advice is autobiographical. So let's see what he is talking about there. So this is the beginning of the book. Doesn't even have a page number. It's one of my theories that when people give you advice, they're really just talking to themselves in the past. This book is me talking to a previous version of myself. These are things I've learned over almost a decade of trying to figure out how to make art. But a funny thing happened when I started sharing them with others. I realized that they aren't just for artists. They're for everyone. These ideas apply to anyone who's trying to inject some creativity into their life and their work. That should describe all of us. In other words, this book is for you, whoever you are, whatever you make. Let's get started. Ding, ding, ding. So if you're like, well, Tasha, I'm not into creating content or I'm not into being an artist. Well, would you like to be more innovative on your job? Okay, there you go. All right. So this is for your career. This is for your personal life. There's no space that's missing there. So have at it. Next, garbage in, garbage out. Love the title of this chapter, page 13. The artist is a collector, not a hoarder, mind you. There's a difference. Hoarders collect indiscriminately. Artists collect selectively. They only collect things that they really love. There's an economic theory out there that if you take the incomes of your 5 closest friends and average them, the resulting number will be pretty close to your own income. I think the same thing is true of your idea incomes. You're only going to be as good as the stuff you surround yourself with. My mom used to say to me, garbage in, garbage out. It used to drive me nuts, but now I know what she meant. Moms typically have that power of helping you realize, oh, you're right, you got this. So with that, the content consumption advice that I shared with you earlier, especially for new content creators, again, for those of us who are more experienced, for those of us starting out, doesn't matter where you're on the journey, garbage in, garbage out, right? Make sure you're surrounding yourself with the type of content that inspires you, that you really feel motivated by, because that's going to pretty much inform the type of content you have out there in the world. Page 15, climb your own family tree. Marcel Duchamp said, I don't believe in art, I believe in artists. This is actually a pretty good method for studying. If you try to devour the history of your discipline all at once, you'll choke. Instead, chew on one thinker, writer, artist, activist, role model you really love. Study everything there is to know about that thinker. Then find 3 people that thinker loved and find out everything about them. Repeat this as many times as you can. Climb up the tree as far as you can go. Once you build your tree, it's time to start your own branch. Okay. I love this because I very much lean into my chosen family, right? You have the family you're born into, but then you have this beautiful opportunity to develop and build a chosen family, right? So that's friends, that's mentors. Those are people that accept your whole truth, your authentic self. And those are people you choose to have in your life. And those are the people that inspire you in ways outside of, any type of obligation of blood relation, things like that. Right. And so you have your own opportunity to develop and build your own family tree. But I love this. I love this section because it's speaking to looking at the people you love, right? For those of us who love Oprah, who love Gary Vaynerchuk, there's all these wonderful people in the world who inspire millions, if not billions of people. Who are they inspired by? Do you know about them? And then who are they inspired by? Do you know about them? And just keep going and build your own family tree of content creation, of inspiration, of motivation. Just keep going. School yourself, page 19. Do you see how this book is just like fire? Like every page, it's like straight fire. I was like, like if you could read and just like snap, that's what this book is. Just like church, like go ahead. School yourself. School is one thing. Education is another. The two don't always overlap. Whether you're in school or not, it's always your job to get yourself an education. You have to be curious about the world in which you live. Look things up. Chase down every reference. Go deeper than anybody else. That's how you'll get ahead. Google everything. I mean everything. Google your dreams. That part. Google your problems. Okay. Don't ask a question before you Google it. I love that. You'll either find the answer or you'll come up with a better question. Whether I went to school or not, I would always study. RZA. I love this because whenever I've done talks, I typically try to put a nugget in there around the fact that you are in charge of your own educational journey, not schooling, right? Whether you go to college or not, I mean, good for you, right? But but at the end of the day, how are you educating yourself? How are you intellectually stimulating yourself and growing every single day? If you're not, why? What is your offense? How does that offend you? How does education offend you? Try to work through that. But then once you kind of get over that hump, figure out what are the things that you want to educate yourself on, you want to grow on, you want to develop on. Love that. School yourself. It is your responsibility. You are driving the car, and don't get it twisted. I liked it. A little bit of sass, but truth in there. All right. We're making headway. Make things know thyself. if I'd waited to know who I was or what I was about before I started being creative, well, I'd still be sitting around trying to figure myself out instead of making things. In my experience, it's in the act of making things and doing our work that we figure out who we are. You're ready, start making stuff. You might be scared to start. That's natural. There's this very real thing that runs rampant in educated people. You may have heard it. It's called imposter syndrome. Oof. The situation where you feel like, who am I to say something? Who am I to do this? Who am I to have this opportunity? You are in that position because you're meant to be, right? And we have to fight against that negative, derailing voice that's there, that's trying to tell us that we are not good enough, because if you weren't meant to have what you have, you wouldn't have it, right? So live that, be present, enjoy it, honor it by giving back, right? Not a lot of times people are struggling with the imposter syndrome, but try to counter that narrative around the idea that, like, you have privilege. We all have privilege. We all live with privilege. How are you leveraging that privilege for others? Have you helped 3 other people in their career, and have those 3 people helped 3 other people, right? Have you done that, pay it forward situation? And if so, then do more, right? And that's how you honor your status. That's how you honor your space of positivity and gratitude that you need to have for who you are and what you have in this world. Next, page 68. Don't throw any of yourself away. I love the titles that he has, because I think that they are just so, like, woo, like in your face, and you're like, what are you saying, sir? Okay. If you have 2 or 3 real passions, don't feel like you have to pick and choose between them. Don't discard. Keep all your passions in your life. This is something I learned from the playwright Stephen Tomlinson. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. Steve Jobs. I'll read that again. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So what's that mean? Hindsight's 2020, right? So the human experience is a lived experience. I say that a lot in talks and things that I do, meaning, unfortunately, you'll hear this advice, right? But the only way that you really understand and get the lesson is when you go and do it. I could tell you 1,000 times, read a book every day, read a book every day. You won't see the benefit of reading every day until you begin to, right? The human experience is a lived experience. You have to hear advice and then implement it in your life. And then upon that implementation is when you're able to see the fruits of your labor. And that's when things get really interesting, because that's when you start to shine. That's when you start to grow. That's also when you start to stumble and you start to fall. And that part, folks, is when you learn. That's the real lesson, in the stumble, in the struggle. And that part kills me. It kills a lot of us, because most of us grow up not wanting to fail and struggle because it feels hard. The judgment, depending upon the household you come up with, maybe failure wasn't an option. I know that was my narrative. But that, ladies and gentlemen, folks, human beings, epic change makers, fall and learn and keep on falling. It's the folks that fall the most, that learn the most, that get the head the most. So keep it up. The not so secret formula. If there was a secret formula for becoming known, I would give it to you. But there's only one not so secret formula that I know. Do good work and share it with people. It's a 2-step process. Step 1, do good work, is incredibly hard. There are no shortcuts. Make stuff every day. Know you're going to suck for a while. Fail, get better. Step 2, share it with people, was really hard up until about 10 years ago or so. Now it's very simple. Put your stuff on the internet. I tell people this and they ask me, what's the secret of the internet? Oh, goodness. Right? There's no secret. There's no, how do I get better? Do more. Learn, watch, read, but constantly take those lessons, start tweaking, start exploring, try new things, surprise yourself, push yourself. That's how things get better. Page 93, leave home. Distance and difference are the secret tonic of creativity. When we get home, home is still the same, but something in our mind has changed, and that changes everything. Jonah Lehrer. I can attest to this. I do not believe that I would be in my career, the stage of my career that I'm in, or the child that I have, or the levels of peace that I've had, the wellness in my body that I've had I not left New York, had I not left certain bad behaviors in my life. So 1,000%. For you to have a different life, you have to have different behaviors. Again, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. If you want change in your life, you have to change behavior. Change what you're doing to have change outcomes. It's really, that's not like mind blowing, but for some people, sometimes it is. So, yeah, no, mind blown. Thank you, and you're welcome. All right, we're moving. Okay, keep your day job. Okay. The truth is that even if you're lucky enough to make a living off doing what you truly love, it will probably take you a while to get to that point. Until then, you'll need a day job. The day job gives you money, a connection to the world, and a routine. Freedom from financial stress also means freedom in your art. As photographer Bill Cunningham says, if you don't take money, they can't tell you what to do. At the end of the day, everyone's journey as a content creator, as an entrepreneur, as a multifaceted maker in this world, you have to decide what works for you. If you have financial stability, however you've achieved that, then that helps orient how you operate and move forward. But the most critical thing I could say to that is do what works for you. Do what works for your household. Try not to stress yourself out more when you're trying to pursue your dreams. I think people underestimate how stress derails us more than it helps us. And when you make things harder for yourself, like financially cutting yourself off when you don't need to, you know, it's more of a derail than anything. So just some tidbits there. Marry well. Who you marry is the most important decision you'll ever make. And marry well doesn't just mean your life partner. It also means who you do business with, who you befriend, who you choose to be around. Relationships are hard enough, but it takes a real champion of a person to be married to someone who's obsessed with a creative pursuit. Lots of times you have to be a maid, a cook, a motivational speaker, a mother, and an editor all at once. A good partner keeps you grounded. A friend once remarked that living with an artist must make our house very inspiring. My wife joked, oh yeah, it's like living with Da Vinci. She's the best. Yes. yes. Marry well. If you don't, you will bear the consequence of that. That's where I'll leave that with that. More to come on that. Put it in the comments if you want to speak and spew on that a little bit more. What now? Take a walk, start your swipe file, go to the library, buy a notebook and use it. Get yourself a calendar, start your logbook, give a copy of this book away, start a blog, take a nap. The point is, read this book and do something. Do something with a hobby, do something in your career, do something as an entrepreneur, whatever you are in the middle of in your life, or you have now seen this program and you are ready to start something, have at it. I wish you only the best because I know that you will succeed if you want what you want and you're willing to put the effort in and you're willing to learn along the way. Oh, we made it through all of that. Oh my goodness, so amazing. Okay, so I there may be comments. Yep. I love this book from Margarita, and I agree it's an amazing resource for everyone. Thank you. I love it. And then Quincy, thank you for the love. Appreciate you. All right. So now let's get into what we're talking about. So if you loved Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, which after this program, you definitely will, he has another book, Show Your Work. So of course, we're not just going to leave that till it's lonesome. We're going to come back next month and do this all over again. So if that tickles your fancy, then join me and let's have at it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. Like I said, that is the greatest honor you can give anyone in this world. And I appreciate you for watching this on the live. I appreciate you for watching this on the replay. I appreciate everyone who shares this. Thank you. It has been fun. Let me get back into seeing me so I can give you a proper goodbye. All right. So with that, my goal for you today is to get this book. That is your homework assignment. If you haven't read it, read it. Get the book and read it. Go to dressingroomate.com to read it. You will enjoy it. And if you've already read it, like some of the guests, folks who watch this program right now, read it again. I've already read this book. And I, to be honest, felt like I learned more the second time around. So please go and get this book. And with that, I thank you for joining. And I know I will see you next month. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day. Bye.